I rather appreciate and admire your sincerity, your labor, your commitment, your dedication. But despite all that, you are not getting good marks, those who are experienced and those who have appeared in exams. Now, in fact, the prelims is a screening test and you just get through it. But as far as the mains are concerned, that's a written test and you have to write. So naturally, there is no escape from writing. But the important thing is that you all are matured, have come through various courses, most of from engineering colleges, some people from general arts, some people in other streams. But you need no advice as far as the kind of approach is concerned. But even then, as far as UPSC examination is concerned, they take all care, very meticulous. It was not to be disclosed anywhere outside, but I was an examiner for 3 years, and they give model answers for everything. At that time, there were questions of 20 words, 25 words. Now, at least, there are no such questions. So, probably you know that the questions of every exam, including IIMs, triple ITs, every exam questions have been leaked. But till date, as far as my knowledge here, UPSC exam questions have never been leaked. So there are 12 sets of questions which are set every year, and only 3 days before the exams, it is the chairman and it is his prerogative or her prerogative that she orders print. Nobody knows which set is getting printed. So naturally, what I am trying to say, not trying to just bamboozle that though it is something very difficult. No, people are appearing, people are competing, people are getting success. So why not you? There is some caution, and there has to be some strategy, and there has to be some techniques also. The first thing, despite all your maturity, is that very often you are not calm. You are not at peace. Some amount of nervousness is almost a compulsion. There is a lady from Bihar, wife of an IS officer, very intelligent. She was my student. She couldn't compete. 2 of the interviewers were known to me. I asked them, since she was so beautiful, nobody could have just left her unnoticed. So one of the vice chancellors, he was a member of that interview, he said she was not at all nervous. This is a disadvantage. So something that some amount of nervousness is not abnormal, unnatural, but over nervousness is bad. Don't be very nervous, don't be in a haste, take your time. When you get the exam paper, take your time. If you are feeling somewhat more uneasy, then press these foot right way, because then you become calm. Get a glass of water or tumbler of water if you need it to calm yourself. But make it calm, because in haste you can't have good judgments. As far as the questions are concerned, you must read them carefully. If possible, underline them. Underline them, no harm in it. Underline the questions, it is better. And always remember that in any question, if there are parts, the parts must be answered separately, in a separate paragraph. Clear? If there are 2 parts, 3 parts, 4 parts, answer all the questions, and a different part must be started in a different paragraph. Mark it, because they take care, there are specific instructions. This part. So, read them carefully. Then as far as the question is concerned, try to understand 3 things. First, what is the meaning of the question? Sometimes the question is that for women liberation, membership of male or males in female organizations is necessary. So, what do you draw out of it? What do you think out of it? So take your time in just understanding the meaning, and don't start writing the answer by, there will be in the GS papers, there will be 20 questions. Now they have understood it, then they have indicated it. They have been writing now that the length of the answer is not important. Last year there was instructions in 2 papers. It is the substance which matters. It is the substance which matters. I am coming on to that. But first, I said 3 things. Understand the meaning. Oh, this is the meaning of the question. Number 2, understand the context of the question. Why this question has been given. This is not to be written, but this is to be understood, because you will have to write something on that. Words are currency notes. Don't waste them. You write too much. As you speak, so you write. You speak a lot, you write a lot. Speak less, write less. This is very difficult. Nature and signature, they do not change very easily. But then this examination is like a challenge to you. So try to condition yourself that you can do it. You can do it. So the context. For example, now there can be questions on terrorism. This is a context. There can be questions on Dalit atrocities and Dalit agitations. There is a context. There can be a question on farmer suicide. There is a context. There can be a question on the migration of the rural poor to the urban areas. There is a context. So naturally, these are the things which are asked in a particular context. Don't write the context, but if it is not asked, but definitely understand the context. This would help in answering the question. This would help in answering the question. In fact, very often, then the third thing is relevance and your direction. Don't be anti-establishment. Even if you are knowing that no, it is a reason, it is a cause, you know it, Be neutral. Be neutral. Since the last 20 years, agriculture in India is in crisis. No government is in a position to face this crisis. This is increasing. The scholar M.S. Swaminathan, probably last year he was in Delhi, and we were trying to interact with him informally, because there are many agricultural experts, Bharat Dogra, Devinder Sharma. These are the people who are agricultural experts. Don't ever write it's the government policy failure that the farmers are committing suicide. Don't say this. It's a reality that the government is trying its best in its own ways to solve the problem, because it's a democracy. Every party in government or every party in opposition wants to come to power. So unless and until it is sincere to the cause of people, how it can come to power, and not how it could just win the support of the people. So don't think that they are not wanting it. They have got their own perspectives. That's the only thing, that they have got their own perspectives. So it is the third aspect, that relate the things and don't go astray. Clear? So the meaning, if you are not understanding, leave it at that time. Come back again to that question, that what does it mean? It is very natural that some of the questions in your own optionals, I mean, you have got different optionals. In optionals also, you should approach the same thing, and the same way you should try to write this. As far as GS is concerned, this is a must. Now, as far as how you approach, you are expected to write 150 words. Don't write. Don't go beyond 120 words. Some of those people who have come from the engineering background, they have got much difficulty in writing. They have been writing ILU for the last 30 years. They have never, and this is the age of SMS, this is the age of these mails, nothing doing, no writing. Actually, they introduced the essay paper just for the engineers. I attended that workshop by the UPSC, but since they eat so much and we do not take so much, so naturally I left that attending workshops. But those were quite good exercises, and in those exercises they tried. In essay paper, why this essay paper? Because you see, the IS officer or the other officers, they have to see the files, and sometimes they have to prepare a long note on that. The file is prepared by the clerk. So, the officer has to correct it. The officer has to elaborate it. Naturally, this essay writing practice is for you to write that you can just understand, or it must be comprehensible to the semi-literate or the over-literate or the Harvard-turned Chidambaram, understandable. But there may be people like a man from Chidanand or other people from UP or other places, Sakshi Maharaj, another Maharaj. So, this must be comprehensible to them. This is a country where there are more educated illiterates than illiterates. So, it is something very difficult and very complex and very surprising. You must have seen the essay report last year. Not only the government schools. So, two groups, one from the private schools and another from the public, the government schools. It has been referred in this economic survey of 2016. They wrote it that this is there. Yes, almost 30% of India is totally illiterate. But then those people, and we should never be, at least my opinion, humble opinion is that educational criteria should not be there. When elections were introduced in India in 1909, then there are educational criteria, there are property criteria. As late as 1946, there was this criteria. 1937 elections were the basis of this 1946 election. So, naturally, since this country is largely illiterate, they do not understand many things. That does not mean that you also do not understand things. So, what we are trying to say that while you write less. It is not possible to write almost 3000 words. So, as far as the engineers are concerned, write only 90 words. Is there any restriction that you cannot write 90 words? In not more than 150 words. There is no reference to in no less than any words. Write 90 words. But those who can write it in 120 words, not more than that. You can then do justice. Writing less is not a drawback, it is a merit. This is the age where time is money. You see the leaders, they speak for hours and hours. They do not leave the mic. You see the corporate, they do not say more than 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. Probably you heard that speech of Indira Nui some 2 months ago. She said only 13 or 14 sentences. They know these words are important. So, naturally, you also should think that your words are important. Do not write more than 120 words in all the questions. Then one thing is, do not leave any question unanswered. You would say, sir, is it possible? No, we do not have heard about those things. How could you write about this? No, you are sufficiently capable of presenting something in a framework. Do it. Do not leave any question unanswered. That is simply unpardonable. There is no deduction of marks, but do not commit fundamental mistakes. If you are not knowing it, if you are not knowing the name, you are not knowing the figure, simply say almost something. Do not write the thing if you do not know exactly. But do not leave any question unanswered. Clear? So that is you will say, no sir, sometimes it is not possible. We have not heard about leafy, what we can write about this jiffy. So, but you are sufficiently capable, you know, because you are reading things, you are trying to have a kind of diverse perspective. So, attempt it, and you just write it. Do not leave unanswered. That is a bad practice. Then as far as the commands are concerned, I have already told you parts. So, as far as the parts are concerned, write the parts separately. As far as the commands are concerned, what does it mean, this command? Elucidate, elaborate, critically examine, evaluate, critically evaluate. So what happens that very often many of your friends are IS, many of our friends are IPS, they have completed the examinations and they say that no, we did not give much of consideration to the commands. It is possible that they have competed without giving, but my humble advice is write according to the commands. The UPSC, when they appoint an examiner, first they write a letter of 2 pages. Please declare nobody of your acquaintance, no relative, no is appearing in the exams. Or only then you are eligible to become an examiner of the UPSC. The second letter is of 24 pages. There they write everything about the commands. Elucidate means this, examine means this, evaluate means this, discuss means this, and they have got the questions after every 3-4 pages, and the would-be examiners have to evaluate those. Before any actual evaluation starts, they have a workshop of the examiners. They tell them. So, naturally, it is my polite advice that you give consideration to the commands. So, number one, the most simple, elaborate and elucidate. We have given that write-up where we have just explained what this elaborate and elucidate means. This means a statement of facts. This means a statement of facts. No criticism should be attempted, no discussion, I am coming on to that, but elaborate means a statement of facts, clear cut. Elucidate means a statement of facts. In elaboration, you can give a kind of some example, but if it is illustrate, you have to give an example. If the word is illustrate, then you must and you have to give an example. You cannot escape it. Remember, you cannot escape it. You will have to give that example to illustrate, to prove the point. Illustration means examples. So, the third, explain. From your school days, you have been in the habit of explaining questions, explaining things, explanation of this stanza, explanation of this T.S. Eliot lines. There is a dark room, people come and go, they talk of Michelangelo. These are the lines of Eliot. So a very satiric line, What is the line? There is a dark room. People are coming to the room, they are coming out of the room. They can't see anything, but even then they talk of Michelangelo, the great painter. What is this? This is the facade of things. This is a normal practice in middle class life. Very often they do not understand things. It is said the Britishers laugh on every joke 3 times. Why? The Germans are the most intelligent. They understand the joke at the first instance. They laugh. The French and the British, they see that the Germans are laughing, say they also laugh. After some time, the French understand, and then they laugh. So the Britishers again, the French are laughing, so they again laugh. Lastly, the Britishers understand, oh, this was the joke. They laugh with their own heart. So I told you, and I just told you about this T.S. Eliot poem. This is what explanation is. That you explain that in a dark room, people cannot see anything. But even then, they are trying to just pretend that Michelangelo's painting is so big. They have not seen anything. You write in the explanation this very thing. You will make the statement clear. Whole thing would be in your explanation. You think that the examiner is an idiot, and you have to convince him. Explanation means convince. Explanation means convince. You convince of the statement to the examiner. You have to convince that this is the thing or this is the point. So, this is clear explanation. You simply get in your mind that you have to convince a person that this is the meaning. This is, so, if you say to someone that this is the statement, probably he may not understand it. So, naturally, you have to explain that this is the fact and this is, you convince him, you convince him. Then the next is, last year, probably, no, year before last, in 2014, at that time 25 questions were there in first paper also, second paper also, GS, but in the third paper they had 20 questions. So, there is a command, explain. What does it mean? In explanation, the first part is that like elucidate, like elaborate, you present the whole thing. You present the whole thing. For example, this question, or we have given this question, you see there, you just open the level 1. Where is the comment? Just see the page. Yes, you just open this page number 6, page number 6, page number 6. So, the question is, the ancient civilization in Indian subcontinent differed from those of Egypt, Mesopotamia and Greece in that its culture and traditions have been preserved without breakdown to the present day. So, there are poems, there are other things. So, here you have to comment, you present the whole thing. Why there was a discontinuity in the civilization of Rome, the great ancient civilization of Roma or Rome. There are two parts, the ancient Roman civilization, the later Roman civilization, but even then they discontinued. But as for the Indian civilization is, it has continued for the last 5,000 years uninterrupted. The regions are that there are many regions which are cited. First, you just present the regions that in India, tradition have been very, very powerful. What is tradition? We do not want to leave the old things. We do not say that the old is sold, rather we say that the old is gold. And number 3, we always say that let us respect the old. this is one region. The other civilizations, the Greek civilization, one of the very versatile and very vital, they are very violent. Whenever there is violence, there is destruction. As far as Egypt is concerned, they say that it was probably a kind of natural fury which led to their destruction. Even the Indus culture, there are two theses. One, that there was a discontinuity. So, the Russian scholar Petronov said that there was a natural disaster, and because of which this Indus civilization disrupted, totally demised. But there is another thesis that no, there was no total destruction of the Indus culture, rather there was a continuity. It declined, it became very weak, but it continued. This is the major opinion. And so, number two is that there have not been, or there has not been, a drastic change in the economic situations or the economic aspects of Indian culture and civilization. You remember the same bullock cart which was prevalent in Indus culture, it is still continuing. The same bullock, the triangle bullock, it is still continuing. The same design. There is a question, last year probably or year before last, that the Indus culture is still relevant, many of the remnants. That is the question. So, the Buddhist religion or the Jain religion, they emerged. One of the reasons, one of the factors, one of the causes out is that there was increase and enhancement in agriculture, and there was enhancement in trade. Why all the preachers and those whom Buddha preached, all were traders, all five of them. The expansion of Buddhism was rather like spring. It emerged and spread like anything. But then there was no further radical qualitative changes, and that was one of the reasons. And the third thing, the religion of India. The difference, tradition is something different. It is prevalent all over the people. As far as religion is concerned, the Hindu religion, it is everything for everyone. So Radhakrishnan said, it is not a religion, it's a way of life. Not a religion, it's a way of life. So naturally, this lack of dogmatism, this lack of sectarianism, the capacity to absorb everything, the capacity of having accommodation has contributed to the resilience and tenacity of Indian culture and Indian civilization. After you write this in comment, you give your opinion. In comment, always you can say anything, whatever you like. You have the freedom to take any position, you have the freedom to write anything. You have the freedom to write anything, and you take any position. Don't write absurd things. I mean anything which can be justified. So this is the comment thing. Then there is a direction as far as this analyze. Analyze means what? You dissect. Those who have come from the medical stream, from the second year onwards, because there are 10 sections in the medical science, and every section has to be passed. There are many people who pass year by year, but there are many who do not pass it even in 5 years. But they all have to dissect things. Sometimes cockroaches, sometimes the frog, and everything. In analysis, you also dissect. You just write every part. Write every part of anything. So there is a question. Analyze. Yes, several foreigners made India their homeland. Andrews made it and participated in various movements. Analyzed their role in the Indian struggle from for freedom. So one of the best examples, any recent president of Indian National Congress, 1918 probably, 1917. So Annie Besant was a communist. Remember, she became a fundamentalist. Came to India, met their headquarters in Adyar, near Chennai, near Madras. She participated, launched this Home Rule movement from Madras, and also, so what you write everything of Annie Besant or any. There are many people. So you dissect everything in analysis, but don't take positions. Don't take any stand when you are given the question of analyze. That would be wrong. Don't take positions when you just do this or analysis. There is a very popular command, discuss. In discuss, you write two sides or all the sides involved in that. Supposing today's India, the policy of liberalization. So there are many people who are supporting liberalization. Arvind Pangadia, Jagdish Bhagwati, Vivek Devroy, and there are many people who are opposing it, Amar Sen, Jihad Reis. So you write both the sides. You write all the sides involved in a question, all the sides involved in a position, to write all that. But even in discussion, don't criticize, don't evaluate, and don't take sides. You do not support either liberalization or you do not oppose liberalization. You simply present the facts or present the arguments. This is what is discussion is. So then is distinguish. Whenever there is a distinguished directive, then you write distinctions between two things. Remember, only the differences, not the similarities. Distinguish between innovation and change. Write what are the differences between innovation and change. Write what are the differences between innovation and change. Don't write the similarities, but if there is a direction or command, compare, then you write both the differences as well as similarities. In comparison, you write both similarities as well as differences. You write differences as well as similarities. Then there is the command describe, like elucidate, like elaborate, simple statement of facts. Simple statement of facts nothing else. Clear? Then there are 4 the similar things. Critically examine, evaluate, critically evaluate. The same thing. There is no distinction. All the things are same. So, how you write? In every question, you begin with 2-3 lines. That would be essay type. Then jump on to points. In all the questions, comment, everywhere you just do that. And at the last, you must write a conclusion. Conclusion is a must. All the examiners, they are from the universities. Only in GS papers, sometimes those bureaucrats are involved who are interested in academics or who are interested in these things. There are many people. There are many people who are very scholarly people. You must have heard about Kumar Suresh Singh. He was an IAS officer from the Jharkhand cadre. That was at that time Bihar was there. He resigned his job. He became so much interested in anthropology and so much interested in these tribes that he later on became the director of Anthropological Survey of India. He was the man under whose direction that People of India project was presented in 15 volumes with People of India project. So you always remember that the examiners have a habit. They see the first 2 lines and they compulsory see the last conclusion. In critically examine, in evaluate, in critically evaluate, in critically evaluate everything, you have to criticize. Criticize means not your own criticism. You may not like Salman Khan, but you don't have to give your opinion. A scholarly criticism. A criticism which has come out in the print media, which has come out in the this electronic media, which has been given by the scholars, by the leaders, by those people, that should be a valid criticism. Criticize. So there are questions here. There is a question. In the view of the declining average size of land holdings in India, which has made agriculture non-viable for a majority of farmers, should contract farming and land leasing be promoted in agriculture? Should. There is a page number 13. Page number 13. And critically evaluate question number 1, page number 13, question number 1. In the view of the declining average size of land holdings in India, which has made agriculture non-viable for a majority of farmers, should contract farming and land leasing be promoted in agriculture? Should it? Critically evaluate the pros and cons. you know that three things. Number one, the crisis of Indian agriculture is that almost 30% of land holdings is in the hands of small farmers. These small farmers are not able to invest money in agriculture. They do not have the moolah. So, naturally, they do not have the money. So, what is the option? Either they should sell the land, go to urban areas, or take something else. But land in India is not only land, it is mother, it is God. You have seen the fate of this Land Acquisition Act, and probably even in this UPSC classes, I told them, probably the ED class, either the law would be passed or the government would remain. Why? This is India. This is not America. In America, the same thing happened. Chicago city was constructed in only 40 years, 1850 to 1890, and Chicago became the king of cutlery in the world. This cannot happen in India. The crisis is that India is, or it is already in the second green revolution. Indian agriculture is experiencing the latest technology in agriculture. You go to the villages, even the illiterate milk wali knows about formalin, how this can be mixed in the water and then milk can become very thick and it can be easily sold to the housewife. She can't just distinguish. So this, they know what injection are to be injected to the cow or to the buffalo so that she can give more milk. But the second is that large scale farming can be done only when there is sufficient investment capacity among the people. So, the rich peasant, the multinationals have come to the Monsanto has come. There is BT cotton. There is no BT brinjal even now because of the opposition of the NGOs and other agricultural experts. You have to write this. You have to critically write that no, this should be wrong and this would be good. This so what is the remedy? Pros and cons. The only 4% rich peasants are in a position to invest in agriculture. So either these rich peasants should be given the land of these small peasants, or the small peasant must be subsidized by the government to take the help of these modulated seeds, take the help of fertilizers, take the help of huskers or developed machines. You criticize, this is the critical, this approach is wrong, this approach is positive, this is bad. So, Indian agriculture, in my humble opinion, requires massive government investment, which was done in the first green revolution. It was Mr. Kissinger who told Mrs. Gandhi, you have got big words in your mouth. You take PL 480, wheat, what was it? Public loan 480 wheat. So, those who have been in the habit of getting aids and loans, they shouldn't have loud mouths. Mrs. Gandhi took it in affront and she said, the officers, take all money you need, but go for self-sufficiency in agriculture. So, there are only two things where we are still. One is that arhar thing, pulse, and another is still the oil seeds. We are not still able to do it. So, I think we have been now the writing. This is an examination for writing. So, you write, but before that, any queries, any questions that you have, you can just ask any questions, any queries. Have you appeared in the mains? Yeah. So, what do you feel?